Well, hello and welcome again to our little reading of sections from the Symposium of Plato, and I got up to section 173, D, and just get to the first part of D. So Apollodoros has been making some slightly mildly sarcastic comments to his friend, mainly about the study of philosophy. And remember, he finished off by saying, perhaps you will think me to be ill-fated, and I know that you think the truth. I, however, do not think you are, ill-fated, but I know it well. And his heteros, his friend, says, Aie homoios o Apollodori. You are always the same, O Apollodoros. Ae ga sauton te kakegores kaitus alus. Kai doces moia teknos pantas athlius hegesthai plain Socratus, aposautu axamenos. So you're always the same, for continually, and this is from Kakos and Agorio, you continually badmouth or speak badly of Sauton, yourself, and also others. And you seem to me, now the ateknos here is something like hopelessly, perhaps simply, often means simply, or perhaps hopelessly, and you seem to me simply to regard pantas, everyone, as athleus, as wretched. Plain Socratus, this is a genitive here, of course, from Socrates, except for Socrates. Axamenos, beginning from yourself. Kai hopothon poti tauten ten eponymian elabes, tomalakos kalesthai, uk oida egoge. And again, slight sarcasm here. And from whence ever you took or you received this eponomion, this is a nickname, we get our word eponymous from this, of course. You received this nickname, and the top goes with the infinitive as a passive here, to be called malakos. Now there is a variant reading here, as you can see down here, of manikos. So you've got this nickname to be called mad, perhaps, but the textual reading is malakos, which probably is something like perhaps impressionable. It may have been changed to manikos because in later Greek, malakos literally means soft. In later Greek it came to mean effeminate. It could also mean cowardly, but possibly here Plato is simply saying something like equivalent of our impressionable. Perhaps a softy, to put it into English, might capture both of those. So you took this nickname to be called a softy, and in fact we know later that when Socrates died, Apollodoros wept uncontrollably, and so that may tie in with this as well. So to be called impressionable, or perhaps a softy, I do not know. I in fact do not know. So just to do that again, so from whence ever you took this nickname to be called a softy, I do not know. En menga tois logos ie toi utos a. For in your words you are always such a man. You are always such. Sauto te kai tois alois agriaines plain Socratus. Agriino is to be angry at, to rail against. It's got that agros root in it. Well, you could almost say in English to be aggro at. So you are angry at yourself and others, except for Socrates. Apollodoros replies, O philtati kai delon gete hoti huto dianumenos kai peri emautu kai peri humon minamai kai parapio. O dearest friend, and it is clear indeed, in fact, that thinking in this way, I am crazy, both regarding myself and regarding you. I am crazy and I parapio. It means something like in English to strike the wrong note. Pio is to strike beside where I should. So I miss the mark, I strike a false note. This word only appears here in Plato. Uk axion perituton Apollodori nun erisdain. Literally, it is not a worthy thing to argue now around these things. So it's not worth the trouble, uk axion, to argue or to contend now regarding these things, Apollodoros, because he's keen to hear the story of the Symposium. Al hoper idiomathus su. But that which we asked of you, this is plural for singular, but that which we asked of you, me allos poieses, do not do otherwise, alla diagesai tines esan hoi logoi. But whatever things the accounts were, whatever the words were, whatever the speeches were, diagesai, relate them to me, tell me. Apollodoros replies, Es santoi nonikene toioidi tines, and then breaks off. So we get this funny combination here. These were then certain such words. So it's something like, it went something like this. They were somewhat as follows. And then he breaks off, Malon dex arches humin, hosekenos diegeto, kai ego paresamai diegesastai. I think you've got to start to end with this, as often in Greek sentences. So I will attempt, future from peira amai, I will attempt to relate them, and then malonde, rather from the beginning to you. So I will attempt to relate them to you rather from the beginning, as that man related them supply to me. And I will attempt to relate them rather to you from the beginning. It's almost just as that man was, it's an imperfect here, but we'll just say related them, understand, to me. And that's the end of the introduction, and the next section is we begin to be told part of the actual story of the party and the things leading up to it. And Aristodemus encounters Socrates, but we'll do that in the next recording.